if it's so terrible, just remember that I warmed it up today. It's early in the morning. It's almost 8:45, so it's quite early. Look at the skies, compare that to yesterday. Yesterday was so frigged. Now it's all cloudy and puffed up. It is odd because the days are getting slowly colder. I can feel a bit more cold. Normally the walls would have been hot, but unfortunately the wall is so cold. Well, not super ice cold, but somewhat cold. It's interesting, pretty interesting. Let me put on something because I am already sick. I don't want to get sick. So let me put it on. It's just a little jersey. Okay. So, all right then. All right. Okay. I'm all dressed up, nice and warm. Oh wow, even the stool I'm sitting on is so cold. Oh my god. Like this part is so cold. So cold. Honestly, I don't even know what to do. I know during the winter it's so cold that I have to wrap myself around blankets at work, which is not that bad. It's just kind of uncomfortable. But overall, I feel like it is going to rain. It looks like it's going to rain, but sometimes it could be cloudy. But most times it's just rain. It does look like it rained last night. If you look at the ground, it's very dark. It seems very wet compared to yesterday. So maybe it did rain last night and I had no idea. There's a lot of drip, like tiny little dots on my window. It could be rain or it just could be the regular atmosphere. Anyways, anyways, what else can I talk about? What else can I talk about? I don't even know. I don't even know. Um, I've been thinking I'm not going to spend too much money on video games right now. Most of them are so expensive, and then you play them for a couple of hours and you realize, yeah, I should have been better off without playing them. This is why I'm not going to buy a lot right now because there's not much that I personally want, and if I want something, it'll have to be very cheap. So that's kind of the unfortunate truth. There's some really cool outs, but unfortunately, I'm not gonna touch them. So let me just show you the medicine I'm taking. Okay, you can see it clearly. This is the medicine I'm taking for my stomach. We bought this off the counter, so this is not a prescribed by doctor. This is just something we got from the chemist, and as you can see, it's a very old school syrup bottle. Inside it's pretty white, pretty thick, but also it tastes very strange. Not a bad taste. It's just one of those tastes where it just feels strange. You know, when it's so cold, my lips start to feel crazy. My lips are dry. Did I even drink water? Yes, I did. Because inside my mouth is dry. I've just eaten porridge, so anytime I eat porridge, after that, my mouth gets very dry. I would like to talk about a lot of stuff, but unfortunately, every time I talk about something, I'm sure this may happen to others, but anytime I talk about something important about myself, my future, nothing comes right. I think I should have noticed that since a couple of years. I would talk about the projects I wanted to do and all the other nice stuff. I couldn't do that. I could not do any of those things because when I talk about it, you know what happens? Nothing happens. So I think it's best not to talk about it or even mention it at all. It's best to just do it, then talk about it, you know? I had so many concepts for video games. I spoke about them. Not much work got finished because I possibly stalled or I obviously forgot about it. So now that I look back, I realize so much of work I could have completed. So what else can I show you? I don't know. I really don't know what else to show you. I don't have anything new to show you, so yeah. I did mention yesterday I need new curtains, so I'm gonna try and get new curtains. Um, but of course, I would like something a bit bright, but not see-through, because then people can see inside. I want something bright. I used to have bright curtains, and then we changed them around December. And don't get me wrong, this is an interesting pattern. It has tiny little circles around, but unfortunately, it's just too dark for me, you know? If I was doing face cam videos and if I still had a light to do YouTube, I would obviously like this more because, it helps a lot. Because when I was making videos back in 2017 and 18, everything was pretty bright, so it was pretty insane. Back in 2016, I used to make videos, and what I would do, we used to have a very interesting curtain. It had green stripes on it. It was very dull. It was very heavy too. Very thick, very cream colored. So the light would still come through early in the morning. Sundays I would record, so what I would do is I would take one of my blankets, peg them up on the curtains, on the railings, and then make videos because it would kind of block some of the lights. It did not help that much, you know? See where I'm sitting right now? Over here. Back in 2018, I would constantly change, well, even 2017, I would constantly change my recording station. First, I would record that side of the room. My table used to be across, like 2016 and whatnot. My table used to be there. I used to use that to record. And then I moved it, then it was on that side of the wall. Everything was different back then, so yeah. And then I would move my table time to time, record videos. Those were the days. And then 2018 came. I kept changing. Like my most videos were recorded like I was situated over here. But I also tried, putting putting both of those tables against the wall, and I would record. And I had multiple things to do. Once I had this brown table over here, and that was, I think, pushed against the wall. I can't remember now, but I had a lot of like multiple changes for my recording station. And let me just say that one time I used to have my table across this curtain, and every time I would record, I would pull the table back to the side, and I would sit somewhere over here, close to the wall, and record. It used to be so cool because over here I used to have like a green screen. I used to put a green material, peg it up, and record. It used to be so cool, you know? Those were the days where everything felt so much better to do. Like YouTube now is so different. I kid you not. YouTube now is so different. I kept thinking YouTube constantly changes, but it's true, it does do that, but the changes are worse. And it's not just YouTube's policies that's changing, it's just the YouTubers themselves, because sometimes people aren't interested in making fun content anymore. So, yeah, That's why sometimes YouTube is very taxing for people. It's very hungry for emotions. That's why that's why I miss the old days of YouTube. But honestly, as the years keep going and going, I'll talk about 2023 and say, ah, remember those days, you know? If I'm okay, that is. I kind of doubt I will be okay, but yeah. Moving along, I'm just saying it's a strange, very strange thing going on right now. Very strange indeed. Anyways, moving on. Um, what else can I talk about? I don't know. I really don't know. This video isn't going to be very much of a heavy video like my updates, mostly because I felt like I've been doing so many of those that I'm worrying people too much. So I want to do something a bit light instead of talking about myself 24/7, which I just did right now. But I don't want to constantly talk about something like I'm sick over and over. Yes, I'm sick, but I don't want to mention it 24/7. What else can I show you? I don't even know. I don't even know. I don't know what to show you. Um, don't have anything to show you, so I mean, I wish I had something to show you. Plus, I want to talk about some others. Fortunately, I can't. Okay, you know what? What we can talk about? We can talk about Eric July and his Rippaverse comics, because I've heard he hired this one chick who was fired. You know the chick who was fired from Limited Run Games the beginning of the year? Remember her? I know it's been a long year so far, but overall, I'm sure some of y'all can remember what happened. And basically, she was fired for liking a couple of tweets in the past or talking about some things in the past and supporting certain people in the past or and even present. So obviously she was canned, and what was crazy was that what's crazy is that this is going to happen more often than not. Don't be surprised. So let's just say you say something on Twitter, people will check it out. People will check it out, not just Twitter, anywhere, and that could be used against you. And here's the thing, this is going to happen no matter what. So all I can say is don't be surprised when this happens. Just be prepared when it happens, for when it happens. And then the company went out of their way saying, we don't support hate whatsoever, but we're inclusive, guys. It reminds me of those companies who wanted everyone to believe in BLM, but if they disagreed with that, then they weren't welcome. They spoke about how inclusive they were, but if you dare disagree, then you aren't welcome. Like this happened years ago. Companies were coming out saying, we don't want you if you don't agree with us. Like, it's just so messed up. It's so messed up because they're losing a lot of customers. And that's the worst. That's just the worst part right now, is that these virtue signaling people, they constantly want a virtue signal, and every time they do it, every hour they want to do it. And that's the problem, because they're so focused on that than making a good product, you know? So Eric July hired her, which is kind of fantastic. I really like the fact that he did that, because, I feel like she would have found some other job, but the fact that Eric went out of his way to hire her, that's amazing. Now, Eric's team is getting bigger, so one company's loss is another man's treasure. So just remember that, what's so vexing um, is the fact that people still think Eric did not deliver his comics. Um, there was this one person a couple weeks ago, talking about Eric July. This one person, a random person, not someone very important, but just a person you find on Twitter. I mean, everyone is important technically, but in the sense of internet and whatnot, this person wasn't really like a major celebrity whatsoever. But the person thought Eric July scammed people. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, really? Um, it's insane how Eric has so much of vitriol around or thrown at him. The people who hate him really, really are angry at his success. And I remember when uh, there was some kind of scandal going on with his warehouse. For some reason, in the thumbnail, one of his thumbnails, it didn't use his original thumbnail uh, of his own warehouse. He used a different warehouse picture, basically just Photoshop or something like that. And that caused people to get very angry, like, oh my gosh, he's lying. No, he's not. Um, I'm just saying, I feel happy that Eric July is really rising up and is really inspiring everyone to do better, not just sulk all day. And I mean it, because if you look at most of these companies right now, they aren't going to perform for you, which is really insane, you know. You want you want people to respect you and your ideas, but they aren't going to do that. They're chasing someone else. So that's kind of the big problem I have. Most of these companies always just want to chase a lot of these political trends, trying to do the safest thing they can possibly do, but at the same time, they divide their audiences. Anyways, I'm sorry for talking too much. My throat's starting to hurt. When I talk too much, it starts to hurt. Have a fantastic day. Bye.